Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Welcome once again, guys, to hope everybody's been keeping safe and well out there. Okay, wrap up warm. Wear those long johns. Trust me, I got a pair on and tell you they keep you nice and warm. Okay, so get some underwear, some thermal underwear, just in case you are mad and cold out there. You never thought you were gonna get warming tips here on the tutorial, did you? Hey, we're full of surprises. Right, you know what animal never forgets? What animal never forgets? That's right, an elephant, and that is going to be the topic, the subject of our tutorial today. Here on my phone, I've found a beautiful, cuddly, cute-looking elephant. There he is. Oh, look at those big blue eyes, right? So we're going to draw that today, starting off as we normally do. We're going to draw the box that the elephant is going to sit in, okay? That box here, we're just going to do it a bit bigger, but keep the same kind of proportions, okay? So it's like a square, we've made a square. Again, I've decided just to break it into 4 parts. So halfway here, I'm gonna do that line there, and halfway here, I'm gonna do that line here. This corresponds with that box there, okay? That makes it easy for us to figure out what parts of the elephant goes in what square, okay? And what portions of it crosses over, and that will give us a reference point so that we know where things go. Okay, shall we start with his head? Okay, as normal, of course, we're going to start with the head, which is, give it the basic shape. So we're going to say from this line here to this line here, about halfway is about there. Just back this way a little bit is where the head side of the head is. So halfway here is about here. Going back a bit, I'd say the head's going to be about here somewhere. Look how far it is from the top. It's not near the top. It's just over halfway. Goes round. And then his trunk goes up here and just touches the edge of the paper. It doesn't touch this bottom line here, which is this line here. So we're going to just bring it up short before it goes there. Like that, just barely touching it. And then we're going to bring the rest of the head round like this, okay? Now remember, how many times have I told you guys this? Just doing this with a basic shape at the moment. Look at that, I'm putting so many lines in because I'm not quite sure where that head is, okay? So it's something like that, okay? Now, once again, I'm gonna do my lines quite dark so you guys can see it on the telly, okay? A few times I've been watching it and I thought to myself, oh, we can't actually see what you're doing, Khalil, okay? When I go back home afterwards and I watch it, I realize that's kind of difficult to see. So that's why I'm making my lines dark, but you keep your lines nice and light, okay? Keep your lines light. I'm using a HB pencil, which is, for our purposes, good enough. Right, let's put his ear in. No details, remember. We're just going to put the basic shape in. Boom. Like a leaf shape. Then we're going to do the back of his leg going down. And then he sits about there somewhere. So we're going to do the basic shape of where his body goes. Like this. Boom. Okay. So you can see we've got the basic place where the ear goes, the head, and the body. We're not done any details, nothing at all. So we're going to put the back leg in roughly, his belly. Now this line here, this center line here, which is here, you can just about see, let me zoom in a bit. You can see that his leg just goes on this side of that line here. So it's about here somewhere. Then it goes all the way back about here somewhere. Okay, see, not long enough. Mine needs to be longer than here somewhere. Something like that, goes back roughly like that, okay? We can tweak and fix it up later on if it's not perfect at this point. It's okay. This leg to his, which should be his left leg here, is a little bit shorter. So it's gonna be about here somewhere. If this one goes there, this one's gonna be a little bit further up, okay? And then we've got his belly here, his leg there, and he's got a leg tucked right behind him here. We're going to put that in here for now. Okay, let's zoom back out. Right. So you can see we've begun to put in some of the basic shape. He's got a little tail sticking out there, right? Let's not worry about that. So we've just done the basic shapes that we're going to fit the rest of his eyes, his, what has he got? His eyes, his brow, the lines in his ear. We're going to fit all of that inside of that shape. But it's important that we get the shape, the rough shape in now, then we'll slowly begin to chip away and start adding more detail, okay? I've got a rubber here. I've got my usual rubber. It's one of those putty rubbers, but unfortunately, the paper that it's wrapped in is becoming twined in the rubber. So it's a bit difficult to sort of differentiate between the rubber itself and the paper. So I'm going to just tease a piece out, make it pointed like that, and use that to rub off some of the lines that we don't need, okay? Yep, like something like that, okay? There you go. As I said, now that we've got the rough idea of where everything goes, and I'm rubbing out some of these points, some of these lines that we don't want, we can look a bit close now to see, have we got all the details in? And at this stage, you probably won't, but don't worry. As I said, this is where we slowly begin to look at things and start putting more details, right? Let's start with the eye. That eye is directly on that line here, so it's directly be on this line here. Let's do a circle for now and do the other eye, which is of course on the other side of his head. Just nearly touches the side of his head there. So if we say it's about here somewhere, because his trunk, we can't see the trunk, color of his trunk is the same as the color of his head. So we can't see that line. So I can see, but where I'm looking, it does go like that. It does go like that. Goes up here, and then you see his mouth, and then his bottom lip just doesn't touch that bottom line, just above that bottom line. Okay, like that. Okay. There you go. So what we've done is just put in a few lines, a few circles for his eyes. And we're starting to put in a few more lines to show where his eyes go, okay? He's got some big eyes, but this is obviously a baby elephant, so that's okay. The baby of any species always tends to have a bigger head, and as they get older, I'm not sure if their body catches up with their head or everything grows into different proportions, but it kind of evens itself out a little bit. Right, this line here now, you see we don't need this line here. This line that I put in before, now that we know roughly where it is, I think it's in the right position, we can get rid of that line. Because there is that line there, but we only used it as a guide, okay? We can start putting some of the details. Of his ear in. Those lines almost look like wings or something, but they're the folds of his ears, okay? They're the folds of his ears. And we're starting to put more detail in, and it goes up into his head and back down here. So now as I'm doing it, I'm realizing that jaw needs to be further down like that. Okay, now remember guys, as I'm drawing this, I'm still looking at it to see if things are in the right place. And more often than not, it's not going to be in the right place. And this is the point where a lot of people, when they've been drawing it for a couple of minutes, this is where they get a bit fed up. They're thinking, it doesn't even look like what I'm drawing, okay? And you can begin to feel disheartened at that stage. But I advise you, don't worry about that. Don't feel, oh, it doesn't look like it. Remember, with just a few lines here and there, you can fix it, okay? It might take a while to find those lines and put them in the right place, but after a while, if you persevere, you will get the right lines in the right place, okay? That is why you must not give up at such an early stage, okay? I've told you this story before, that a friend of mine, years and years ago, when we were in our 20s, right, he used to really love Danger Mouse. And he wanted me to paint a picture of Danger Mouse using watercolor. And I said to him, yeah, no problem. But he said, the only thing is that, can I sit with you while I draw the Danger Mouse? I said, yeah, while I paint it. I said, of course, great. It's nice to have somebody sitting with you as you're going through it. And then you can talk them through it. You can tell them what they're doing. So I thought this is a really cool opportunity. So we got the paper, we drew everything, and I drew the Danger Mouse on the paper and started to paint it. After 10 minutes, he was saying, no, this is no good. The colors are wrong. They're all over the place. I said, this is just the early stages of the drawing. So don't worry, okay? So he kept quiet for a bit longer. I continued drawing it, but because I'm drawing it and I'm painting it, and I'm trying to get the colors right, the shade right, it looked wrong. Even to me, it looked wrong, but I know I've got a way to go. But he was saying, no, I don't like it. I forget it. I don't want it. I said, are you sure you don't want it? You sure you don't want this picture? He goes, I'm sure I don't want it. I said, are you sure? Give him all the chances in the world to say, oh, let me just be a bit more patient. No, he didn't take it. He said, no, I don't want it. I'm going home. So I said, okay, so he went home. So of course I started the picture. So I thought, let me just continue it. I continued it and I finished the Danger Mouse painting. It looked really awesome. If you've ever seen that picture of Danger Mouse when he's got his finger up like that with penfold next to him, that one, Danger Mouse, that was that picture. Finished it off. A couple of days later, he came around my house and I had it leaned up against the wall. He says, oh, what's that? Oh, that's the Danger Mouse, isn't it? I said, yeah, that's the one I drew for you. He goes, oh my gosh, that is brilliant. I love it. I want it now. I said, why weren't you more patient before when I was drawing it? You know, it takes a while to get there, but he didn't understand that. And he was so impatient that he missed out on a good picture. But I did give it to him. I gave it to him in the end. I couldn't be that mean. Okay. So the point is, okay, your pictures will take a while to look good. Okay. So don't worry about it. If for the first couple sketches, the first few lines, the first few minutes, it doesn't look like what you want it to look like. You have to keep going, okay? And my friend, even though he's not an artist himself, right, he learned that lesson that day. Again, guys, I want to ask you guys to send your artwork in, okay? Because of the COVID, unfortunately, things have had to slow down a little bit at the studio. So we're still trying to collate all your pictures together and do a tutorial check over. But if you have sent your pictures in, if you want to send your pictures in, you can get one of my Muslim family coloring books here again. I've showed you this book so many times, and every time I show it to you, I realize there's things I haven't actually showed you, right? Like there's a picture here called the Mountain of Light. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful, indeed we have revealed the Quran in the night of power. So that was something that I never mentioned before. We've got the Quest babies who go on different adventures around the world. Farmer Giles who learns to pray for the first time. We've got Baby Bilal and the balloon, and he gets into a bit of trouble with that balloon. So there's so many bits in here. So if you want to get a hold of one of these, all you need to do is email me your picture, take it in a nice, well-lit place. Make sure there's plenty of light so we can see your picture. Hold your camera directly over it, not to the side, directly over it, so we can get a good image of it, okay? Because I remember I said before, I want to print these out and put them in the studio, and I want you guys to look out for your artwork. That's the whole point. This is a partnership between you and I, and I've said that before, and I'll say it again, okay? So make sure you send it to the email address below. Okay, we'll pick out some really good ones and we will send you a copy of the Muslim Family Coloring Book. If you don't get one this time, you can buy all of my books, including this one, on Amazon. Okay, they are available on Amazon. Right, guys, thank you once again for joining me here for Khalil's Make and Do. Stay safe, stay warm, keep drawing, and be patient with yourself. And I'll speak to you soon, inshallah. Take care. Salam.